Welcome back, everybody, to Jedi Eternal, here for episode 50. Yeah, that's
the big 50.
The big 5-0. Yeah, this is a pretty cool episode here. Like usual, we're kind of like rushed, but we're like super excited about the episode. We have so much stuff to do, and anyway, so so this is episode 50 of Jedi Eternal. I am your co-host Braxton Taylor, here with co-host Andrew, the die-hard Superman fan, Bolin. Thoughts? No, we were just talking about Andrew has been a long-time fan, and there's actually a new show coming out we was talking about called Superman and Lois and stuff. Anyway, Andrew's,
I love Superman. When you talk about like pop culture and stuff and comics and stuff, Star Wars is one of my big loves, but my other love is Superman.
Yeah.
Nerd. And unfortunately, Superman doesn't get a lot of love in media and things these days. It seems like most of the time, I don't want to talk about Justice League, but
we're getting
Zack Snyder's Justice League,
Snyder stuff coming out. So
good,
hey,
but I do love Superman, and there was some rumors going on about a new Superman movie potentially with J.J. Abrams.
Yeah.
So anyways, I was talking about that, and Braxton's like in a rush because he has to go do a Nerf war later. And
That's not what it is. Stop saying that.
Yes, literally. Gosh. Just so you guys know, he's going to rush through this episode so that he can go shoot little Nerf bullets at kids.
He's making me sound so much worse. I'm actually going to a youth service where I can play music for a church service, and there happens to be a Nerf war at the end.
All I'm saying is I saw like a picture for it, and all I saw was Nerf war, and then maybe small subtitle at the bottom. It said something.
It's not my problem that our youth leaders' priorities are not straight. Okay. Hey, Phil, if you're listening to this, I love you. Anyway, so this is episode 50, though. This is 50 episodes. I mean, 50 in our culture is a very weird, arbitrary number that some reason means something to our culture. But anyway, episode 50. So that's 50 Smackaronis, big episodes. And it's really exciting. We've been doing this for a while now. We had our 1 year episode, what was it, 2-3 weeks back. And then we had a live stream, and that was a blast. And then now it's kind of episode 50. So we wanted to have a very interesting episode this week, and it'll be kind of normal for the most part, but we did have a really cool main topic that we're going to talk about later. Yeah. But before we get into our news today, I think Andrew has a little piece of news for us.
Oh, yes. So for those of you who have been listening to us for a while, you've probably heard the name Alex Mason, who happens to be one of our biggest supporters.
Yes.
And we're always greatly appreciate him and all of his efforts towards this podcast. But today we want to congratulate him.
Congratulations.
Because he has decided to ask a young beautiful woman to marry him.
Whoa!
So, and
big
as far
moves,
as I know, it looks like she said yes. So
the cheering in the picture usually means good things, but we don't know. So hey, sorry if this is a sore topic for you.
Not 100% sure if she said yes, but we're assuming she did based off what we've seen. So
yeah.
But seriously though, Alex, we are so happy for you. We wish you the best.
Absolutely.
And if I knew her name, I would say something about her as well, but I do not know her name. Right. But we're so happy for you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Congratulations, man. That's awesome. And I'm proud of you. I'm happy for you. If anybody else, like I said, we're not going to give special treatment. If anybody else wants, everyone has a big thing in your life, we'll give you a shout out too. Yeah, we just happen to, we know Alex, so we saw stuff on Facebook. So anyway, big congratulations to him.
Yeah, and Alex, enjoy Star Wars while you can, because as soon as you get married,
it goes down the hill from there.
Like, your lightsaber fights and stuff you've been doing, those are great, but like, man, she's never going to let you do that again. So
it's never going to happen.
Do it while you can.
Yes. So anyway, congratulations, man. We're super excited for you. But let's go ahead and get underway with our news for this week. We have so many. I'm trying to hurry up so I can go to this youth service, right? To help out stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And shut up. And we actually have like more news pieces than we ever have in the entirety of our show.
We have 8, right?
8, and we've cut
8
out
news stories,
stuff.
and we cut out some. Yeah.
And they're all pretty decently big stuff. Yeah. So let's just go ahead and jump right into this. Let's do it. So first and foremost, and this is something that we kind of thought could be news because the man himself said it, but Rian Johnson's reveals that his trilogy that we've talked about quite a bit in the past is still in the works. We haven't heard anything about it. Of course, we had, Investor Day, and we had a few different things recently. We never really heard anything about his trilogy. But according to him himself, this is no longer a rumor. It's still in the works. Now, we don't know what it is or what's going on, but it is still in the works. Drew, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Soraya Wilson interviewed him for USA Today. And yeah, she asked him about the trilogy, and he said that it's still on, no dates or timelines because he's got other projects going on right now, but it is happening.
Interesting.
So it's funny because we listened to our very first episode this past week in preparation for this, and we'll talk a little more why on that later.
Yeah.
But it's funny, we talk about Rian Johnson's trilogy and the fact that we didn't know anything yet, but we're still like, well, maybe we're gonna hear something. Maybe.
Right. Yeah.
Or
we still really don't know.
I mean, Rian Johnson's saying it's coming, but part of me still just finds it hard to believe we're ever getting this. It's just like, and why? Here's the biggest thing for me that I think about with this: why a trilogy? Mm-hmm. Did he pitch a story already that requires a trilogy? I mean,
or was he kind of like assigned, like, hey, here's trilogy, whatever you want to do with it. Here's what you have,
why trilogy? Everything else right now in Star Wars, they're no longer working on trilogies. It's like it's a standalone movie, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's a series, but we don't know how many. But for some reason, every time we talk about Rian Johnson, it's a trilogy.
Yep,
and I just find that interesting, and it makes me wonder if his story's already out there. Maybe when he was working on The Last Jedi, he told them, I want to tell this story. Mm-hmm. It's going to require a trilogy, and here it is. And maybe that's the case, but it's just interesting that they always talk about it in a form of a trilogy. Yeah,
it is very interesting, and like I said, the fact that we still don't know much about it, especially since it's a trilogy, is pretty surprising.
Well, it sounds like it's probably pretty far off because we assume Taika Waititi's movie is 2025. We assume.
Right. And that's the first one of the lineup.
We don't know anything about that one, but we know that that's coming after, help me out, Wonder Woman Patty Jenkins' movie. Oh, we know Patty Jenkins' movie is coming 2023, so we assume the 2025 slot is Taika Waititi, so that means maybe Rian Johnson's first one will be 2027.
Maybe, maybe that's a big.
But like that's so far away. Like you're gonna have like 3 kids.
Well, I might be dead. Who knows?
Like I'm gonna have another dog. My wife probably is like.
You'll have some kids.
She's probably like screaming in a pillow right now after I said that. No,
and more plants. Definitely more plants.
Well, yeah.
More plants, more kids, more dogs.
Yeah, probably all 3.
I don't know what I'll be doing.
We'll have more kids, more plants, more dogs.
Yeah.
More tears, more pain, more sorrow.
much more for sure.
Less fun. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, guys, see you then. I'm signing off.
Alex, this is what you're headed towards, buddy. So listen closely.
Yeah. But anyway, it is really far off, but it is interesting that it's good to know that it's still in the works. So, Drew, go ahead and take us off on our second one here.
Oh, I would love to.
Awesome.
Our second one is Boba Fett returns in the War of the Bounty Hunters Marvel event. So some of you guys may remember Vader Down. That was a series of Marvel. It was a story that was told through different Marvel series. So like the Darth Vader comic was included, Star Wars comic was included, Dr. Aphra comic was included, but it was told through all of those comics together. Mm-hmm. And so what they're doing with this is it's kind of the same idea. It's going to start in May, and it's going to run through May through October. So it's a pretty lengthy thing here. We know that the Bounty Hunters comic is going to be a part of it. Dr. Aphra is going to be a part of it. It's going to go through the Star Wars comic and the Darth Vader comic. So all of those are going to be telling this story. And so what we know about it right now is basically Boba Fett has Han Solo, and he's taking Han Solo to Jabba, and all the other bounty hunters want him. And
that's a pretty neat idea concept for sure,
right.
Though.
And the idea is he does lose Han Solo, and basically it's all about Boba Fett getting Han Solo back, and what does he have to do and able to do that.
That's neat.
And that's kind of what it's going to be all about, is the fact that Han Solo, is frozen in carbonite, and what happens between him being taken and then getting to Jabba.
Right.
So I think it'll be pretty interesting.
That's a really cool, and like to the time area of Empire Strikes Back, in between that and Return of the Jedi and stuff like that. It's a really cool time era for sure.
Yeah, and I think we're getting more Boba Fett soon. We're getting more Boba Fett at the end of this year. So I think this is no coincidence that we're getting this series that's going to focus more on on his character.
Right.
And I would say we're going to get some little hints and teases as what's to come for Boba through this comic.
And it'll probably set a foundation for some events or like,
characters.
Characters, like he crosses XYZ bounty hunter and so he's going to come back in this new show or something like that. Who knows?
I would say they're going to play off each other for sure. Yeah. So exciting.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, and it's all, like you said, it's a comic series, but it's also called an event, like an event series type thing. So that's going to be really interesting to see how that all works together, and it's a really cool concept.
Yeah.
All right, so our third news piece for this week is actually about Gina Carano. So we, as of last week, had talked about this and how Gina Carano actually got fired from Disney, that she's not going to be working with them due to some of the things that she had said that Disney disagreed with. Now, we are not trying in any way to be controversial, but as people who try to give the bare bones, true facts news about Star Wars and Star Wars universe, we thought it would be appropriate to give her side of the perspective as well. So we're not going to state what we believe, don't believe, but Drew has a quote from Gina herself. Like I said, no way reflective or indicative of what we believe or think. But we're going to remain impartial. But again, we just felt it was appropriate. We gave Disney's side. Now we're going to give Gina's side. So Drew,
we like to tell both sides of the story. Yeah. When it comes to anything in Star Wars, that's kind of what we're here to do.
Right.
Is we want to be transparent with you guys on all things Star Wars, and so when we get two sides of the story, then we'll tell both sides.
Absolutely.
Of the story. So here we go. This is what she had to say. She said, earlier on last year, before The Mandalorian came out, they wanted me to use their exact wording for an apology over pronoun usage. I declined and offered a statement in my own words. I made clear I wanted nothing to do with mocking the transgender community and was just drawing attention to the abuse of the mob and forcing people to put pronouns in their bio. According to Carano, Lucasfilm's reaction to her not using their apology statement was excluding her from all press and promotion for The Mandalorian Season 2. And she goes on to say this, quote, "That was heartbreaking, but I didn't want to take away from the hard work of everyone who worked on the project, so I said okay. That was the last time I was contacted about any type of public statement or apology from Lucasfilm. I found out through social media, like everyone else, that I had been fired," end quote.
Yeah, I mean, there's things that we could say about that, but honestly, I don't want to delve into that because obviously, of course, every episode, dude. Why is your dog every episode? Bro?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. What I will say, it's again, as I said 2 weeks ago when we talked about this, it's unfortunate things have turned out this way.
Right.
It's unfortunate that honestly on both sides, I think there could have maybe been something they could have fixed this somehow.
Right.
But you got when you're in something as big as Star Wars, first of all, you have to be careful what you say,
right.
And
even if it's something that you don't inherently feel is bad, it at that point it doesn't matter because Disney, they feel like they have to cover all of their bases. So we're not saying who's right, who's wrong, but we do say that as a private company, Disney does have the right to say, who stays, who goes, and it's their rules, whether you like them or not.
I guess where I come from when I think of this, I didn't really care about the character of I don't remember her name. Yeah, Cara Dune. I don't really care about her character, to be honest.
Yeah.
However, I do think about the little girls that probably really did like her character. So what I will say is I hope that she at least eventually gets recasted. Instead of just completely throwing away this character, I hope they recast her so that there are little girls that probably really look up to her and think she's cool. Yeah. And now all of a sudden they're just not going to have her. So for their sake, I think we should at least get her recast eventually. But
sure.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So like I said, that's that. We're going to let you all draw your own conclusions. We just wanted to give light to both sides of the argument. So there you go. All right, so Drew, take us on.
So this we've been talking about this rumor for a couple weeks now about the Zynga game that was being rumored to be happening. we finally found out what that is. It's called Star Wars Hunters. This is going to be coming to Nintendo Switch, and I think like mobile devices like iPhone, Android. And it's going to be a squad-based online arena multiplayer game. So nothing else has really been said other than that it's going to be set between the events of Episode 6 and Episode 7, so probably around the same time as The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not that excited about this.
It sounds to me like just another free-to-play battle royale type situation. We don't know what it's going to be like yet, or if that's even what it is, but anything that's in that arena for me, I know a lot of people like that, right? There's a lot of people who play PUBG and Fortnite and a lot of these free-to-play games, but for me, it's just not something I love usually. But hey, more power to. I mean, I'm always up for new Star Wars stuff and more Star Wars stuff coming out there.
I'm gonna try it, whatever it ends up being. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a try, and who knows, maybe I'll love it. But as we have stated many times on the podcast, we're not super big fans of mobile games. Right. So,
yeah.
But hey, more Star Wars content. I can't necessarily complain. So
can't go wrong with that. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and move on. So E.K. Johnston, which is the author of the Padme trilogy. We have some more news on that. Those of you who have liked those books, and we even did a review on, was it Queen's Peril or was it? Okay, I can't remember now.
Oh, that's a good question.
It's the second one. So whatever that second one is, I can't remember now.
Queen's Shadow.
Yes, Queen's Shadow. Queen's Shadow.
I had to go look at the bookshelf over there.
Yeah, you're the book wizard here. You should know.
The book wizard.
Anyway, so if you've enjoyed that, so now know that the trilogy is going to come to the end with the new book Queen's Hope. So it is going to be interesting to see that. We did the review on that one, and I know Drew's read the previous one with Queen's Peril. So Drew, do you have anything to say on that?
Yeah, it is going to be coming out on November 2nd, 2021, and it details the final days of the Republic from Padme's point of view. I'm pretty stoked for this.
Well, could we get like her interactions with Anakin and things of that nature? Yeah,
I think we're going to.
That's cool.
We're going to see Anakin's start to turn from a new perspective that we've maybe not gotten before. I think we're going to deep dive into the relationship a little more, of course. And I would say we might get some of those final events before her life ends. Get in her head a little bit in those moments.
Right.
So all of that is very exciting to me. The other two books were great. The second one was phenomenal, really, and especially in comparison to the first one, because it started to deal with more characters outside of just Padme, and I have a feeling this might do the same. So we might get, for example, the second one had some chapters that dealt with Sidious.
That's what I was about to say.
And so we might get more of that in this, and so again, getting more opportunity to see Palpatine's perspective in these final days of the Republic. I'm all for it.
Well, I was gonna say with Queen's Shadow, it was very interesting to see that kind of change in nature from Queen's Peril, where we got to see not just Padme's thought process, but all these other people's. So it's going to be interesting to see in what is it, Queen's Hope, that we're hopefully be able to see some like maybe thought process of Anakin too, and dealing with other characters.
Exactly.
Because as you said in Queen's Shadow, it dealt with Sidious, which that was really, really cool. We got to see Obi-Wan in there and all the stuff like that. So I think it's going to be very interesting, and hopefully they delve into like maybe the thought process of some characters that we know and love, but maybe just in some ways that we've never thought of before.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm super stoked. I think this is going to be great. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's move on to our, I don't even know what number this is of news, but
I think 7.
7. Okay, 7.
Maybe.
This is a big one. We finally have an answer for when the Bad Batch is going to release, and that's
pretty big.
May 4th.
Wow.
Star Wars Day.
Be with you. Dude, that's cool.
This is very exciting. It's coming out. That'll be a Tuesday, May 4th.
Very interesting.
I'm going to go ahead and state that we're most likely going to do another Star Wars Day live stream. I'm sure that will be our plan, unless if something changes, we'll let you know. But we plan to do a Star Wars Day live stream because that was really awesome for us last time.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah.
And what we'll probably do is we'll watch this episode and then we'll probably talk about it and review it on that live stream. So that'll be a lot of fun. It's something to finally start to look forward to. I will say, slightly disappointed because I thought this was coming sooner.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
The fact that it's coming out in May was a little shocking to me because I was expecting it a little sooner.
I was expecting at first early to mid-March. Then we didn't start to hear about it, I was thinking, okay, maybe April.
Yeah.
And I think it maybe could have been April, but the fact that it's so close to Star Wars Day, they probably are like, oh, come on, let's just go ahead and throw it on Star Wars Day. Why not? You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm sure that's definitely part of it. And I think that's a year after Clone Wars ended.
Yep.
Like, I think Clone Wars ended on May 4th or something like that.
I believe either started or ended. It was one of those. I think it was ended, though. Yeah. Yes, it was.
Was it ended? I can't remember. I think Clone Wars started earlier, didn't it? I don't know.
Either it was on the day. It was May 4th, 2020. That either ended or started.
I think it ended because
But anyway, day of significance. I don't know.
it definitely ended because we were doing reviews on that throughout April and stuff.
Yeah, I remember now.
So the other thing I wanted to say about that is that after that, episodes will be releasing on Fridays.
Yeah.
So the first episode will be a Tuesday, and then from then on it'll be Fridays, as we're kind of used to with Star Wars content, MCU content. They come out on Fridays normally. So.
Oh, yeah. Cool
that
stuff.
That WandaVision, though, that's pretty cool stuff.
That has been pretty good. I have not watched the newest episode, but
I haven't got to watch the newest one either.
It has been pretty awesome. So
yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, so our final news piece for the week is that Star Wars Republic Commando, which is a fan favorite game for a lot of people, is actually going to be released on PS4 and Switch. And Andrew had brought up, like, well, these things that's not on Xbox. Well, actually, is that it had been on Xbox that we just kind of forgot. Yeah, it's based on the backwards compatibility, if you can say that 3 times fast. Xbox has backwards compatibility on a lot of their old games, and Republic Commando happened to be one of them. But at this point, PS4 and Switch never had that opportunity, so they're actually coming. So from my understanding, this is not anything, remastered or worked on. It's just the port of the game.
Right. That's the way it appears. It's just a port. So basically, if you are an Xbox person, you already have access to what this is going to be for them.
Yeah.
So, but that being said, it does release on April 6th, 2021. So, if you maybe have never played it, maybe this is the time to give it a try. It was a fun game.
Very good game.
I always loved the blade that they had, like whenever you do the melee, the vibro blade that came out. That was always cool.
Dude, and the soundtrack is phenomenal. I kind of forgot how good it was until I had seen somebody talk about it on one of the subreddits I'm on for Star Wars, and man, they brought up a certain one of the songs. I listened to it again. I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot how good this was.
Now, granted, I haven't played this game in a very long time, so it may be horrible. Who knows? But that is one we've talked about maybe streaming sometime.
Yeah,
and if you guys have a preference between Republic Commando or KOTOR, let us know. Which one would you rather us stream?
Yeah, KOTOR would definitely be much longer, and it's different gameplay styles too, right? So, yeah, whatever you guys would like to see.
We might end up doing both, but which one would you rather us do first?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
All right, so that's going to finish off for our news for the week. So let's jump into our rumors. Much shorter than the news, but we still have some good ones here. And the very first one, and I'm going to butcher this guy's name, and I apologize, but it's either Mina Masoud or Masood. I don't know how to say his name. I apologize. But Mina is possibly being eyed to play Ezra Bridger in some of the live-action stuff that's coming up, whether that be in the Ahsoka series or what have you. But he's being eyed to possibly play Ezra Bridger. So if you don't know who that is, he's actually the guy who played Aladdin in the movie Aladdin. And but if you look up a picture,
the live-action Aladdin.
Yeah. If you look up a picture of him, he does look pretty similar. I could see maybe an older Ezra.
I think it could definitely work
with some little makeup, hair change, costume. Yeah. I could see it. But yeah, so he's being possibly eyed to play Ezra Bridger.
I'm not against this at all. I'd say go for it. he's already in the Disney family, so
Exactly.
kind of an easy choice there. And he definitely can fit the look. So I say why not? I mean, my only other thing I would do is maybe use the voice actor.
Yeah.
But again, like, clearly they don't like doing that very often. Sometimes.
Apparently not.
And he's maybe
he's a bit older, I'd imagine. Too.
He may not really fit what the description they're looking for at this point with him. But But yeah, I mean, if they're gonna pick somebody else, why not him? He seems to be a good option. So
yeah, not much else to say on that, but it's just some interesting news to be aware of, or a rumor to be aware of anyway.
Yeah. So moving on, we have an update on the Mandalorian: The Ultimate Visual Guide. Been waiting on this for quite a while.
Yeah.
We thought we were going to get one for the first season, and we didn't. They held off till after the second season, so that we assumed they could
put
together.
Put
Kind of season 1 and 2 into one visual dictionary.
Real quick, I was just going to say, those of you who are not sure, like, wait, you've talked about this before? This was actually a part of that kind of like little publishing thing that they were going to do at the premiere of season 2 of Mandalorian, which was like, I think it was like a kid's book, comic, or something like that. This visual dictionary. And it's going to do it, but then it got postponed. And some a book too, I think, right?
Yeah, and a book that's been postponed, and who knows if that's ever even coming? I don't know. And to add to that as well, for those of you who don't know, every movie, a visual dictionary is released with this movie. Shows a bunch of pictures of the characters and the stuff they have, and gives a ton of like extra information on it, and they're always fun to dive through. I mean, that's how we got the canon version of Revan.
Yeah,
like it's because of a visual dictionary. So you can see their importance.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So with that being said, now it's looking like this may not even happen.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So the first update was saying they were hearing that it's not coming out. They were shutting it down last minute because the multiple interconnected series coming to Disney Plus required a different strategy. Lucasfilm wants to have more control over the books. According to our source, The Mandalorian: The Ultimate Visual Guide, or an updated and changed version, will not be released before 2022. So, interesting stuff there, because that makes you wonder what that really means for the interconnected series. It makes me wonder if they're going to wait till all of these series come out and then make one big visual dictionary. Yeah. For whatever this, I almost wonder if this won't end up getting a name. All these series, like whatever this is leading up to,
under some kind of event title.
I think eventually we might get like an event title for all of this. Now,
I could see that.
And I mean, I still hope it's Heir to the Empire, personally.
But,
but it may
a little wishful thinking.
Yeah, that's a little wishful thinking, but I think it
might as well, right?
But that being said, then DK Publishing responded, and they said that the title is still set to publish and release in July, and there have not been any mentions of this title being canceled from within our company. So,
interesting.
Yeah. So DK, which is the publisher,
Donkey Kong, right?
Yes, Donkey Kong
Publishing.
They're saying it's not happening, but then these other people are saying they're hearing from Lucasfilm that there's no way that book is coming out because their plans have changed.
Right.
So
that's surprising. It's surprising. I mean, it's surprising that they're changing it because it was supposed to happen at the beginning of season 2 of Mandalorian. So like they had definitive plans for that to happen, and then it got postponed, and that was not even supposed to happen at all. So it makes you wonder if maybe before the investor day that they even had the intentions of making all of these different shows. Right? It makes you kind of wonder that. And then as season 2 started coming out and it started doing good, and they realized blah blah. Okay, we're going to postpone this visual dictionary. We're going to start making all these shows, and hey, now that they're going to be a big event, maybe let's just all connect them together and have this one big massive visual dictionary. Who knows?
Yeah, it's really interesting. For some reason, this book is causing controversy, and I don't truly understand why.
Yeah,
but something's going on with this book. I don't know.
Very bizarre.
We'll continue to update you guys as we hear more information on that. Yeah. So, and as we get closer to July and see if it actually comes out.
Right. Exactly. That'll be the big telling time for sure. All right, so going down to our final rumor for this week, and this is a pretty big rumor, right? and I have some thoughts on this, but I'd love to hear what you have to say as well, Drew. But George Lucas is apparently writing for the new Andor series. So, first of all, hearing that, my Star Wars nerd lover passion side wants to say, like, oh, this is so awesome. George Lucas is getting sent into it again. Oh, this is so amazing. But I'm like, well, let's slow down for a second. First of all, why? Right, why is he doing it? Why is he coming back? Is he even allowed to? I don't know this for a fact. I'm completely speaking out of my rear end here, so I could be completely wrong. But, I want to say that there was some kind of clause in the Disney contract that said he couldn't work on anything anymore, or because I know Disney has done that in the past when they've taken rights to something that the original creator couldn't use it anymore or couldn't work on it.
Well, we know they at least allow him to come on set.
Yeah, like supervise, or not supervise, but like as a consultant type thing. Like actually writing's kind of different though.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. And you assume if he's writing, he's being paid for that.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, and this all started because of the Inside the Magic. They noticed on IMDb that George Lucas is on there right now, listed as being a writer for 2 episodes.
That's interesting.
It makes you. It does make you wonder if maybe this is something they convinced him to do, or maybe he wanted to do. I think you have to put into consideration though. IMDb is not an official source.
No,
like people can.
It's like Wikipedia,
right?
Thing,
people can put stuff in there and cause chaos. So like, easily someone could be like, I'm gonna get George Lucas put on here or something,
right. Right.
But that being said, also sometimes it does kind of give you an idea of what's going. Like a lot of times, IMDb will show you actors in the movies that you don't even realize are in the movie.
Here's an interesting one: is that they did end up showing Hayden Christensen in the Kenobi series before it ended up happening.
Yeah, and again, that could have been speculation. Someone just assumed, and so they went ahead and put him in there. But either way, it ended up happening. I'm going to be blown away if George Lucas is actually writing for this series.
Just contractually speaking, it doesn't really make some sense. But the other thing I was going to try to say is it doesn't make sense to me is why Andor, right? Because, first of all, if you're going to go on any show, why wouldn't it be a show with the people who you already know and love and work with, such as Dave Filoni, right?
Right. If he's going to write for anything.
Why wouldn't he be writing for Dave,
exactly,
right? And Jon Favreau. And they're not over this one, so why would it be Andor, right?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. You think if he's going to be anywhere, it's probably going to be on a show that Favreau and Filoni are doing.
Yes.
Versus, Tony...
Stark, yeah.
Tony Gilroy, is that who's
something
doing?
like that. I don't know.
Something like that.
I don't even care. I don't care who does
As you guys can tell, we're still not super excited about Andor just yet, but we're hoping that it
I'll be
gets us
watching
excited.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I'm not like stoked about it.
If George Lucas is writing here, if George Lucas actually writes 2 episodes on this, I'll be stoked for a couple of reasons.
Absolutely.
One, because it'd just be cool to have him writing in it, and you'd have to imagine there is some purpose to why they choose for him to write in those 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that be a certain character that might be in those episodes, or something like that. But also, if he chooses to write 2 episodes in Andor, he's probably going to come back and do even more.
Sure. And here's the thing. It is a actual quote from Kathleen Kennedy that they want to get closer back to George's original vision. She did say that, like with her own mouth. So could it be that this is real and they actually are bringing him back? And for maybe some minor things at first, just to maybe like, okay, we'll let you write a few things and supervise me, because we're already letting you consult, right? We're already letting you come on and, talk with the people and who are doing this. Now we're going to let you write a little bit. We're going to let you consult a little bit. And then maybe that'll kind of direct it a little bit more to the original vision people love.
Here's my take. I think this could be brilliant because George Lucas is the creative mastermind behind Star Wars. He's, the Star Wars universe we love and adore is all because of George Lucas.
Yeah.
I know people want to throw stones at him and talk about how horrible his dialogue was and all of that, but you cannot argue that he is a creative mastermind. And what you could do here is allow him to continue to be that creative mastermind, allow him to continue to, no one knows Star Wars better than George Lucas. Dave Filoni is a close second, but but allow him to continue to create wonderful things in this universe, but let other people make the big decisions on where these things are headed exactly.
Like, here's the direction, you add the meat to it type thing.
And, don't let him write the dialogue, stuff like that he doesn't necessarily, not with these crews that have now, he doesn't need to write any dialogue. No. He just needs to give him an idea of where he thinks the story should go, or create some kind of interesting character.
Right.
And then the rest can be done by other people. Yeah. I think it's a win-win.
I absolutely. I mean, there couldn't be anything wrong with it, other than maybe some people like him being kind of offended, like, "Why don't I have more?" Like, that's
and the thing is, if George Lucas comes back, it's not because he needs money. No. It's because he loves and cares about this universe and has a passion for it. If he is coming back, that is why. It's not because he needs money.
Right.
So, if he's that excited about it and wants to come back and do it, I'm all for it.
It couldn't be better. So
yeah.
So it's a rumor, but it would be pretty cool if it did happen. So I think that ends our rumors for the week.
Yeah, so let's jump into our releases real quick. We actually have a new novel coming out. Victory's Price by Alexander Freed will be released on March 2nd, so that's going to be on Tuesday. Very excited about this. This is the finale to the Alphabet Squadron trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
The first two books were decent. I can't say I ever got like super into them, but they're decent books.
Yeah.
But the ending of the second one was pretty intriguing, and so I'm excited to see where this one goes for sure, and kind of see how that all plays out. So excited about that. And then in comics, we have the High Republic issue 3 and the High Republic Adventures issue 2. Those are both going to be coming out on Wednesday. The High Republic, of course, is killing it right now. It's we've gotten multiple novels at this point. The comics are going to continue to release. We got even more novels coming this summer, so lots of good stuff there. So if you're interested in more High Republic, maybe you've read a couple of the novels, go ahead, check out both of these comic books. So pretty excited about that stuff.
A lot of cool stuff coming for sure. Absolutely. All right, so we're going to go ahead quickly into our Q&A segment, and that is, of course, every week we ask you all for questions to bring up topics that we can talk about and all that good stuff. We have several questions kind of built up over the past couple weeks. Again, we was going to try to do an episode, so I put a Q&A out there, but we wasn't able to end up doing it. So we have several questions. So we're going to do 4 today, because I think we can do it fairly quickly, but still answer the questions. But the very first one comes from Kristen Perry, who says, besides Life Day, are there any other holidays the Jedi celebrate? So first of all, that's a great question. Now, one thing I will say is this. Now, I'm not the authority on this, so Drew, if you think I'm wrong, correct me, or if anybody out there has definitive evidence otherwise, please message us or something. I'd like to know. But from my understanding, I don't know that the Jedi necessarily ever celebrated Life Day. So Life Day is kind of like Christmas, right, for us across the galaxy of the Star Wars, galaxy, right, the Star Wars universe. But with the Jedi, of course, they're about detachment. They're about not necessarily going on to attachments of people or things and all this stuff. So I don't know necessarily that the Jedi specifically celebrated. Now, maybe some Jedi members did. I'm not saying that they wouldn't, but I'm just saying as a whole, I don't know that the Jedi recognize that. So to answer your question, no, other than Life Day, I can't say that there necessarily ever was, because I don't know that they even celebrated Life Day. But we can talk about some different holidays that do occur in the Star Wars galaxy. Now, the Jedi may not celebrate them, but some interesting stuff here. So some of those are Bunta Eve, that's celebrated on Tatooine. We've heard that. Some of the animated series, I believe. And I think maybe even the original trilogy, I can't remember. There's the Festival of Lights on Naboo. There's the Equinox Day in Hosnian Prime. There's Ka'ana on the planet Esmeru. And then there's the Republic Day and the Empire Day. And we've seen those plenty of times, specifically Empire Day throughout some of the animated series. And we even saw it on, I want to say Solo, but I could be wrong on that. Drew, can you think of any other holidays or anything like that we have? Because I think that was pretty exhaustive, but I don't remember.
I mean, I think that was a pretty good example. I mean, I'm sure there's other stuff that's been mentioned, but I mean, I think you hit all the...
So I think the better question, though, is do you think that the Jedi celebrated Life Day? Or do you think it's kind of more of like an individual's choice type thing?
Probably more of like an individual thing. I doubt like the Jedi were all like, okay, everyone, today's Life Day.
Everybody's,
let's all
decorate and
like I doubt it's like that, because as we know, the Jedi, especially in in the era we know them most, which is
Right.
the prequels. We know they're pretty. They don't really celebrate much.
Pretty
you know?
staunch,
Yeah.
kind of, you know.
So she kind of acted like maybe she knew of something that where Jedis did, and maybe they do. Again, like
bring it up if we don't know of something.
yeah, like I can't think of a certain time where Jedi celebrated it, but doesn't necessarily mean they haven't in some form.
Now I will say this, to bring up something that I think could help her, and then also kind of counterpoint it at the same time. So sorry, Chris, I'm not trying to tear you down here, but you could be thinking, okay, well, in the Star Wars Christmas special, you have Luke, right? He's celebrating Life Day. Well, but again, he wasn't really a quote unquote, classically trained Jedi, if that's how you want to say it, right? There was no Jedi temple that he was under. And that could have been just an individual thing that he'd always done with his family. And just as he grew up trying to be a Jedi with Yoda and stuff like that, he just continued to celebrate it. Secondarily, we see, with the new holiday special, with the Lego holiday special, we see Rey. And again, same thing though. Rey's not necessarily a traditional, classically trained, I know it's kind of a dumb way to say it, but Jedi, right? She grew up by herself, not as a Jedi, and then just started learning some of the Jedi ways later on. I could be wrong. Maybe it's in Clone Wars somewhere, but I don't think that there's ever been a time that we see actual, like, full-fledged Jedi actually celebrate it. Could be wrong on that, but
we're wrong.
Oh, are we?
We are wrong. I just
wow.
I just started doing some research as you were talking. I was doing some research over here.
We should have looked. Probably should look that up.
We should have looked into this before we.
We look like fools.
Well, hey, this just shows you guys that we are very sincere. Like,
yes,
we just
admit when we're wrong.
Yeah, we talk about what we know, and we'll tell you if we don't know it.
Yeah.
Actually, the Jedi Temple does celebrate Life Day.
Really?
During the Clone Wars. And we know this because of Star Wars Adventures, and that's why I don't know it very well, because that's the one thing that I don't actually.
So as a whole,
they decorate.
Okay.
You remember how you were just saying?
So listen, guys, I will say this: this is Jedi's Adventure. This is a children's oriented. They're gonna. But the fact is that's still canon, though.
But it's still canon. And it even says that Obi-Wan Kenobi is known to dress for it.
Oh, come on.
To dress in festive clothing for Life Day.
No. Kristen, thanks a lot. Why did you have... I didn't need to know this, actually. This is just wrong.
We should go look at this comic. It's
apparently.
It's Star Wars Clone Wars Adventures... Nutcracker Clone Troopers.
Oh my gosh!
Wait, what?
Come on, this is just wrong.
Wait.
Will you? Yes. Anyway, so as he's looking it up, point is that apparently it did happen. Now, I will say this, and now it's canon, so it does happen. Now, I'll just say personally, it has to be canon because it's written in the Disney era, so it is canon. But I do think that it was the whole purpose that Life Day is even a thing is that they wanted to make a Christmas special, but they couldn't just say, oh, Merry Christmas in Star Wars, so they made Life Day. It was kind of one of those situations where Life Day really shouldn't even exist, you know what I'm saying? But because they wanted to celebrate Christmas in real life through Star Wars, they made it. So it's kind of like, oh, the children are having fun in real life and on Earth here, and it's Christmas time, and they love Star Wars Adventures, and, so we're going to make the Jedi Temple dress up and celebrate,
Wait.
Okay, good grief, man. What?
Forget everything we said again.
Oh, what? Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you.
What?
Okay.
What is it?
I'm Life Day. Everything I just told you is not canon.
Oh my gosh.
Because that was Star Wars, that was Clone Wars Adventures, the video game from Legends, not the comic book that I thought they were referencing there.
I was right this whole time.
So,
good grief.
That is still not canon.
So we went through all of that for nothing.
We went through a lot of emotions through there and a lot of confusion.
I'm so glad that Obi-Wan didn't dress up.
We're going to go ahead and state that as of right now, we choose to believe they do not celebrate it.
Yeah. So again, if y'all have something other than this video game apparently that tells it. Please let us know.
Yeah, apparently there was a video game called Star Wars Clone Wars Adventures.
Yeah, apparently.
Did you know that?
I didn't, but apparently it was on. I'm looking at the cover art right now. I don't know what it's on, but anyway, it's clearly the early days of Clone Wars. So a lot of wasted time. So I'm apologize. A lot of mixed emotions and a lot of mixed answers there. So I don't believe that the Jedi ever celebrated anything, even Life Day, but there is a lot of other ones out there. So sorry for wasting your time.
I'm having to just cut that entire part out.
I don't know. There's a lot of fun stuff in that.
I don't know if anyone wants to hear all that we just.
Well, I'll let you figure that out. Okay, so we will go on to our next question.
What an exciting 50th episode!
Oh, good grief, we're going
about
crazy.
Life Day.
So our second question comes from Alex Mason, who has actually asked us last time we had the episode who would win in a battle, Revan versus Palpatine. I believe that was his question. And then JB came in and said Bane versus Palpatine. But Alex comes back this week and says, who would win in a fight, Revan versus Starkiller? So we could go on quite a bit of ways here. I'm going to kind of cut my answer kind of short because it's going to come back to what we've already talked about. So I'm going to be kind of brief. Andrew, if you want to go on a little bit more, but I kind of got my own time a little bit. But we've already talked about Revan. We already talked about his power. Now, Starkiller, though, is very, very powerful. And of course, if you talk about Starkiller, like his clone in Force Unleashed 2, he's even more powerful. Like, he's insane. Like, we see that trailer or whatever where he's literally picking up like an entire forest, almost entire like platoon of stormtroopers, and absolutely using some kind of force pulse and absolutely vaporizes them, turning them into dust. Like, that's how powerful he is. But I will say this, although Revan is not canon, I think one of the reasons he's not canon, other than just the whole Disney thing, is that he's also like incredibly powerful, just like Starkiller. So it's difficult to have both of these characters because they're so powerful. But with Revan, he's one of those guys that had mastered not just the dark side but the light side as well. Like, he had mastery over both sides of the Force, and he also then had, so he's super powerful in the Force, but he also had impeccable battle tactics, battle experience, and he had incredible pain tolerance, all of these things, right? So, but here's the thing, he's really good at saber battling. Some might argue that Starkiller was on par, if not maybe a little bit better, because he was a master of Form 3, but also a master of Form 7, which could be variated and to come against Revan. But in my personal decision, I would say that Revan still takes the cake, just due to how he's mastered the light side and the dark side. He's not just reliant on his hate like Starkiller would be. That Revan would still take the cake. That's just my opinion. Drew, what do you think?
This is a hard one for me because
it is a hard one.
Based off the crazy stuff we see Starkiller do, I feel like you have to give it to Starkiller, just based off just what he does with the Force.
That's what I say. It kind of depends if you're talking about Starkiller in Force Unleashed 1 or 2, because the clone version of him is pretty insane, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing, like, Palpatine does end up taking him down, though, right? And we thought that Palpatine would lose to Revan. So...
you have a point there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that gives us our answer.
By proxy.
When you put it that way, I guess Revan.
Yeah, kind of by proxy, but there's your answer. So if you want a little more context, anybody out there, go to our previous episode, and we do talk about that in a little bit more lengthy detail. So our third question comes from Brandon Dukes, who says, so in The Force Awakens, Kylo Ren, when in the mask, bears a striking resemblance to Revan. Is this just coincidence, or is intended, as they both still do things with the light side in mind? So, to give you the long and short answer for me, and Drew might have some different thoughts here, the long and short answer for me is it's possible, right? And I know that's such a horrible answer, but here's the thing. when the designers created Kylo Ren, is it possible that whoever was working on him, like, kind of had maybe Revan in mind a little bit and stuff like that? Yeah, it's possible. Now, one thing I will kind of counter that point with is this. Look at Kathleen Kennedy, who now she's not maybe in the, she didn't roll up her sleeves and start designing the characters with them. I understand that, but look at what Kathleen Kennedy said, who is over these sequel trilogy movies. She literally said with her own mouth, "We don't have any comics, we don't have any movies, we don't have any games, we don't have any books to guide us and lead us into this sequel trilogy." Yet, there is a whole just deep, crazy story that happened after episode 6. So I feel like if she didn't know about that, she definitely didn't know who Revan was. And if that was that mindset going into it, I feel like a lot of the cast probably didn't intentionally design him to be like Revan. But could it be that the specific designer who was going over him in his own personal mind kind of took some influences? That's definitely possible. What do you think, Drew?
Yeah, I mean, I think the masks, even Revan's mask, is technically inspired probably because of Darth Vader's mask.
Sure.
So it all kind of comes back to Darth Vader, and we know Kylo in canon does a mask because he idolizes his grandfather, Darth Vader. But yeah, I mean, as far as like visually, they may have took some elements from it, or at least looked at Revan's to. As part of their inspiration for creating Kylo Ren's. I could see something like that for sure.
Yeah.
Canon-wise, we don't know. We don't really know if they had a visual look at Revan. I don't know if there were statues of him somewhere, or if he was in history books, or I don't really know. At that point, how much was known about that character. If it was widely known, then maybe he took some of Darth Vader's inspiration from Darth Vader's mask and Revan's mask to create his. I mean, who knows? But yeah, I think it's possible.
Yeah, it's such a cop-out answer,
right,
but
right.
it's possible. I mean, I guess
that's all you can really say, though.
Right. No, so great question. Yeah, and I apologize. I didn't say great question to either. Great question to Kristen. Great question to Alex. Apologize. But hey, if you guys are on here, it's always great questions. So no need to worry about that. So our fourth and final question comes from David Gill, who says, "Let's talk about the cinematic videos for KOTOR," which you're referring to Old Republic, but they are absolute masterpieces. And sir, you are correct. I've said this for a very long time that I would love a Netflix show, and this was before Disney Plus. So I guess I would love a Disney Plus show in the style and graphics or whatever you want to call it, in the design of these Old Republic like trailer videos and cinematic trailer videos. They are fantastic. In fact, one of my favorite ones is when you have I think it was Jace Malcolm, which was the he's like a Republic commando trooper. I don't know what he is. Special forces. I don't know. But Jace Malcolm is narrating over this video about how they're protecting Alderaan, and Alderaan used to be, the beacon of light and blah blah blah. Yeah, but in as he's narrating, Jace and all of the Republic troopers are like going through and absolutely like demolishing the Sith like squadron, and they're just like shooting and throwing grenades, and it's just sick. I mean, first of all, one of the only times that Republic troopers have been able to like go hand in hand with Sith. That's fantastic. But then, of course, you have Jace. He goes hand to hand with, was it Darth Malgus? I believe it was. I could be wrong on that, but
Darth Malgus. Was it the one with the like respirator thing?
Well, he hasn't had it yet, but yes.
Okay,
yeah,
it's Darth Malgus. Yeah.
So anyway, but that's where he kind of gets it because he
right.
blows up a grenade or something like that. It hits his face or something like that. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Fantastic though.
They're all amazing.
So good. Yeah.
Really, really great stuff. I've said for a long time, and we maybe have even said on this podcast before, but like, let those guys make a series.
Right.
Like let that team. I can't remember what their name is. The people that do those trailers, but let them make a series on Disney Plus.
I would love
like
it.
give us a I mean, it could stay Old Republic.
Yeah, give us an Old Republic series in that style.
Give us a series in that style,
man.
that animation. And I realize that animation is really it takes a lot of work.
Sure.
I mean, just go back and look at it. It's amazing. It's
immaculate. Yeah.
Yeah, like they do such an amazing job. But I guarantee you, it's so beyond what it takes to do like a scene in the Clone Wars.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and so I understand like the amount of effort and time they got to put into that, and money is probably rough just for that short little trailer that they do.
Yeah. But if they get Disney's funding,
yeah,
you know
but
like
I think it would totally be worth it.
Yeah.
And I would love to see something like that happen because, I mean, you talk about like getting some awesome Jedi action, like visually,
so good.
That's still some of the very
good.
best we've ever gotten.
I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but there's that one scene where it was Bastula's like daughter, granddaughter, great-great-daughter, whatever, and she's with her master, and they fight the two Sith in that ship hull. Oh my gosh, dude, it's so good. One of the greatest like lightsaber fights you'll ever see.
Oh yeah, and this is why I continually say I want the Old Republic, because you get that glimpse of Jedi versus Sith war, all out, you know, like tons of Jedi, tons of Sith going against each other.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I want Lord of the Rings, Star Wars is what I want to see a field of Jedi running towards a field of Sith. Give it to me.
I want a battle of Helm's Deep.
Yes,
but Star Wars.
I'm serious. I do. I want it, and I think eventually we're gonna get it.
I hope so. I hope so.
Because I think that there was a point where they and oh man, just think about it. If you did it where it was like also when the Mandalorians were kind of included in all that too,
like Mandalorian Wars,
and you know they're like riding their dragons through, and like I'm telling you, there could be some awesome stuff.
Mythosaur attack, dude, that'd be sick.
I want
at that point it would literally just be Lord of the Rings, though, you know.
I mean, yes and no. I mean,
I'm saying with the dragons at least.
Well, yeah. Star Wars,
but yeah,
Star Wars has been pretty small scale when you think of battles and stuff. Even though, like, they have big galactic battles, but it always seems kind of smaller.
The biggest one we've ever had is the Battle of Geonosis.
Right.
In Episode 2. That's the biggest one we
had.
As
far as, like, and space battles, you know, they get bigger. But, like, when you're talking about, like, boots on the ground type combat.
Right.
Probably the Battle of Geonosis is the biggest we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's the closest we got to getting kind of, but I want to see Sith.
Right. Not just, like, them against normal
I want to see Jedi
people,
versus Sith. I want to see a big, huge war. That's what I want. I agree. I want it.
I do too. I hope someday we get this opportunity.
Yeah, but thanks, Davey Bear, for asking the question.
Yes, Dave. That's a Davey. Great stuff there.
If anyone wonders why I call him Davey Bale, that's because he is my brother-in-law, my cute little brother-in-law that I love dearly.
Wow, Davey Bear.
Yeah. So, and I've called him Davey Bale. That's exactly how it's spelled.
Is it a little bit more than brother-in-law?
He is a young, handsome lad. So.
Well, anyway, Dave, you heard it for first. Okay. Anyway, so let's go ahead and move on. So that'll conclude our Q&A. So we're going to get into our main topic. So our main topic, and we've been kind of like, haven't really spoke about it up until this point because it's kind of special. So as you all know, and if those of you that might have been around for a long time, or maybe you've joined recently and you've maybe went back to some of our previous episodes, our very first episode that ever came out was called The Future of Star Wars. And that was a very special moment for us. That was kind of the first time we ever did a podcast in general, let alone for Jedi Eternal. And so that was a very special moment for us. Basically, the future of Star Wars. We actually had just basically did this podcast right after we had watched Rise of Skywalker, the end of the Skywalker saga. And in our minds, we were thinking, like, what on earth is going to happen now?
Yeah.
So basically, to make a very long story short, and we'll get into it, is that we thought it'd be very appropriate 50 episodes later, or I guess 49 episodes later, episode 50, that we would do kind of a recap of the future of Star Wars, and we're going to go and maybe call it the state of Star Wars. And I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, but maybe every 50 episodes, so episode 100, we'll talk about the state of Star Wars at that point. And I think it'd be really cool to have that every 50 epides.
Yeah, have like a part 2 and part 3, part 4, part 108.
Hey, hopefully that'd be awesome. Hopefully there's that much Star Wars.
I mean, you have to think eventually this is getting a little off topic, but you have to think eventually, like, we're going to like reboot our episode numbers, right?
Most likely, yeah.
Like at some point, we're gonna have to go like season 2 or something.
Yeah, a lot of podcasts
one,
do.
right?
We have again, it'd be like episode like 2,396.
Yeah, like at some point we'll have to change it.
Hey everybody, this is episode 2,396.
Maybe at 100, then we go back and go. I don't know. We'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about it later. we'll do our planning for the podcast off air here. But anyway, so we are going to talk about the future and the state of Star Wars. We're going to recap what we talked about in episode 1, and we're going to talk about where we're at now and what we think is going to happen in the future from here. So let's start off talking a little bit about what we talked about for episode 1. And we kind of already gave you the background of where we were in our minds. The Skywalker saga had just ended. And, essentially we talked about, what's the next big thing?
Well, we had the Rise of Skywalker. We had just freshly seen the Rise of Skywalker about a
couple weeks ago.
I think it was maybe a month later at the most. Yeah. And also the first season of The Mandalorian had just ended right before that. Yeah. So we were on a pretty big Star Wars high, which is right. why we created this in the first place. Yeah, it just felt like the right time. We were excited and ready to do it.
Boy, was it. We've kept this train rolling, man.
Yeah,
we have. A lot of content.
Yeah, a lot of stuff has happened in this past year.
Yeah.
So we went back and listened to our first episode just to kind of see where our heads were at. And surprisingly enough, we didn't do too bad as far as what we talked about. So go ahead and give us one of our first things there.
So the very first thing we talked about, and it kind of conjoins with the second point, but basically we're thinking like, what's the next big thing, right? The Skywalker saga, that everything that we know about Star Wars had just ended. Yeah. So what's the next step? What's the next big thing? And funny enough, we are still trying to figure that out to this day. We don't really know. We have, basically though, the biggest thing is the High Republic that we have right now. But what we're going to do in the movies and stuff, we really don't know. But so the second point is that we speculated that there would be a much bigger TV focus. If you go back and listen to it, it's pretty funny because we just watched The Mandalorian basically a month and a half earlier. And so we thought, hey, I would bet that they're going to take a break from movies for a little bit, and they're going to probably move into shows a little bit more, if not a lot more, and ride off of the success that Mandalorian has brought them. And we were right.
Yeah, and we also we asked the question, what do they do next, past or future?
Yeah.
That was one big thing that we talked about is like, will they go in the past? Will they go in the future? Because we felt like they wouldn't just stay in the sequel trilogy any longer. And as we know, they did. We said probably past. Yeah. And here we are with the High Republic now being a new focus, and getting. We know we're getting a series set during the High Republic now as well. Yeah. So it's not just a publishing program anymore.
Yeah, we're getting the Acolyte now. So, and if the Acolyte comes, which it is, right, then we're probably going to get something even earlier than that in probably the heart of it too, I would imagine, and that's much further down the road. But yeah, so far we're 2-0. So. but yeah, like I say, we were talking about how it'd be more TV show centric, so to speak, and that was right, because now we have like 10 to 12 different shows being planned in the next 5 years.
Yeah, since then we got that huge map of Star Wars content to come, which we have stated before, and probably in our episodes before that happened, that we wanted one of those MCU style, throw a bunch of movies up on the screen, give us years for them, and see the roadmap. Yeah, and we got it. Yeah,
and we got like Ahsoka, Ranger of the New Republic.
Don't even try to name all.
I'm just gonna be a little taste. Andor, continuation of Mandalorian, Boba Fett. I'm not going to go on all of them, but a lot. So, but we thought, okay, you're doing more TV shows, and that's great. But what's the next big step? And funny enough, we actually did end up. It had just started kind of peaking in rumors, but we had talked about the High Republic. And thought how that could very well be it. But what's funny, and I'll let you talk, but I'll say what's funny, though, is that at this point we didn't know that Project Luminous was High Republic. Right. So we talked about how it might be the same thing.
Yeah, we talked about the High Republic, and we talked about Project Luminous. Yeah. And what's at the time, the rumor was that the High Republic was going to be a series of movies, each focusing on individual characters, sort of like the MCU, and then coming together in an Avengers-style film. Yeah, that was kind of the pitch at the time. They were saying like each one was going to be like their own superhero-style type Jedi.
Right.
And in a vague sense, some of that is kind of true for what the High Republic has became, in book form though. But what's interesting is, as we talked about that, we actually stated we believed it was probably actually Project Luminous, and that it was a series that was all going to be books and not movies.
Well, so it's funny. I have to say that we made a pretty good observation here. Is that like I said, at this point, we had no clue what Project Luminous was in terms of content, but we did know that it was a publishing series. Now, I said this, and I give myself a great big pat on the back on this one. But but what I said is like it very well could be the same thing, because at this point, and this was back in late January of 2020. At this point, we've heard about the High Republic in two different places: in a book and in a comic. It's like, and how interesting that Project Luminous are all books and comics. It's like, so actually very well could be the High Republic is going to be not movies, at least as of yet, but Project Luminous.
At the time, we thought that a video game was going to be the introduction to the High Republic.
We were on that
That was a rumor for a long time, that there was this video game that was going to be the beginning of it all. Yeah. Of course, that did not come to pass. I don't know where. Well, actually, no, it kind of did. I think where the confusion was is that it was the VR Tales from Galaxy's Edge that did introduce the High Republic.
Kind of did.
It kind of did.
So in a sense, it actually was kind of
it's not really what we were thinking it was going to be, but it kind of ended up true in the long run. Yeah. Basically, guys, what we're saying is we are never wrong. No.
If you listen to us, if we say something like, "Hey, we think this is going to happen," it probably will, because we're just geniuses.
But seriously, I was pretty impressed with how much of this that we kind of were in the right direction.
Yeah. We're talking about how Yoda would probably play a decent part into it, which he's not like a huge character, but he's definitely in there, and a lot of characters love him and stuff like that. So that was pretty interesting. So one of the final things that we talked about in the first episode was actually about, but if once they exhaust the High Republic, once they exhaust even the Old Republic, what is going to make Star Wars, right? What is going to end up happening, right? How are we going to move forward into a new era where they have to go past that Skywalker saga, right? Because like I said, we have plenty of content that comes before with the High Republic, which is now canon and stuff like that. And if they even still have to, they can recanonize the Old Republic, and there's tons and tons and tons of stuff there too, right? But now, what are we going to do after we get past that? Once we exhaust all of that and we get back up to the sequel trilogy, what's going to happen afterwards? Now, we're not going to get into our exact thoughts on that, because that is the big majority part of our main topic in the first episode. So if you wanted to know what we think makes Star Wars, go back to episode 1 and you can listen to that. But it's actually a pretty interesting topic. We go over like it's the themes, it's the music.
Yeah, you were a lot more excited about Star Wars in the podcast back then. That's what I noticed when I listened to it. Yeah. I was like, man, he's really lost his excitement for
this.
It's
not just for the podcast. It's for most things, honestly. 2020 did a number on me.
Man, it did a number on me too, brother. It did a number on me too.
But now, so if you want to listen, if you want to know what we think makes Star Wars, and what we think is they're going to have if they move forward past things we know and love and stuff, go listen to episode 1. But now we've talked about a little bit, but what do you think, Drew, is the current state of Star Wars? So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about what we are going to expect, things that we know for a fact we're expecting.
Yeah. Well, of course we know. So let's talk about this year for a minute, and like what we know is coming this year. Yeah. Of course, the very first thing I think of is the Bad Batch. That is coming in May. Yep. That's going to be one of the big Star Wars releases this year. Yep. And then going further into the year towards December, we know we're going to get the Book of Boba Fett. Right. I would say those are the two biggest things we get of Star Wars this year.
And in games, we're getting Skywalker Saga Lego.
In games, we're getting the Lego game,
and then Hunters,
and we're getting the Hunter. And there are still rumors out there. Potentially, there might be something else that could end up showing up in the fall
from EA, right?
Yeah, like a smaller project from EA,
kind of like another Star Wars Squadrons, but maybe something like else,
that.
Right?
So that very well might end up showing up later this year as well. Right. And then of course we go into books. and we know there are more High Republic books coming.
Yep.
We know there's at least another adult novel, another middle grade novel, another young adult novel, and the comics will continue.
Yeah.
We know that. Then we know we're getting, of course, the new Queen's Hope book. We're getting, trying to think if there's, you know what, do you have anything you can think of off the top of your head? Because I'm going to look.
Not a ton.
I have a list. I'm going to pull it up real quick.
Not a ton, but I will say is that for this year also that we possibly could be getting a Mandalorian book, right, which was talked about from last year and was postponed in 2021. We don't know if that's going to happen
Here
or
we
not.
go. This is what I was looking
be.
for. We have the Dr. Aphra novelization
yes.
of the audiobook. And
Yeah.
we're getting that in April. We're getting Star Wars Throne Ascendancy Greater Good, which is the second in that trilogy. That's coming April 27th. And as of right now, the Mandalorian novel is technically still set to come November 2nd of this year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So we'll see if that happens.
we'll see if that actually happens. And of course, mixed in all of that are a ton of different comics. It's, as of right now, it's all the current comics we already know about. There's not any like new series joining necessarily. It's all still those same ones, but those are all still going to continue through this year.
Yeah.
So that's basically covers like the big main releases of Star Wars in its current state.
Yeah.
How would you think Star Wars is doing? How would you consider just the state of Star Wars though? Like, do you think it's going well? Do you think it's going bad?
I think there's definitely a lot, right? Now, some could argue, and I'm not necessarily saying it's me, but the devil's advocate here is quantity over quality, or vice versa, quality over quantity, right? And we're getting a lot of stuff, and I will say personally, and there's a lot of things personally for me that I don't care as much for. Star Wars, and I'll love it just because of Star Wars, but Dr. Aphra and Andor and some of these other ones, Queen's Hope and stuff like that would be interesting, but like it's kind of stuff that like it's not huge, right? It's not anything crazy, but there is a lot of stuff, and I think that the fact that we're getting so much lifeblood pumped into Star Wars, if nothing else, I think that's going to end up creating better stuff. Yeah, because getting more attention.
Yeah, I personally think Star Wars is thriving. I think we've never had so much content coming.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
even books. There's so many books that come out now in Star Wars. Last year, I have an app where I follow all my books that I'm reading, make sure I'm like keeping track of all of it. Yeah, and I only read Star Wars books last year because that's like all like. I never had time to read another one because there was constantly coming out, and that's what it's looking like this year's going to be as well. So, anyways, I think Star Wars is in a very good state. We are really running out of time. I know that you have Nerf guns to shoot. Shut
up, please stop.
No, I'm just kidding. I know you got to go play music for it. I get that. But in our last couple minutes here, let's talk about the future of Star Wars.
Yeah,
and let's just throw out some predictions so that we can use this
as a
in 50
metric,
episodes from now. We can kind of talk about what those predictions were. So, Braxton, go ahead, give me one prediction. We'll go back and forth a couple of times. Just what is a prediction you have for the future of Star Wars?
I would say in the next couple years or so, we're going to be getting maybe some kind of announcement of a High Republic.
Now, I will say,
movie.
Don't get too far out.
Right, I know.
Let's think about in the fact that this is going to be in a year from now. We're going to be.
I don't know what would be happening.
I mean, I'm not saying you have to say.
Well, here's
I'm just saying don't be like, okay, in 10 years we're gonna.
I'm saying it may come in 10 years, but I'm saying we're going to at least get an announcement of a High Republic movie.
Okay.
In maybe a year. Now, not that it's coming in a year, but the announcement that it's possibly being worked on, because as much success as they're having through the publishing series, it's already in 2 video games pretty much. We're already getting the Acolyte series. I'd say by the end of the year, if it continues with this ramped up production of how good it is, we're going to be getting a movie. I think that's one prediction I could probably give fairly confidently. I mean, because I could say other stuff. I don't know, even with that one, I don't know how confidently I can say it, but because there's a lot of things that I think are being established this year, and I think it's going to be like what's going to happen next year that we're going to be able to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Type thing.
I didn't write any of these down.
Me either.
I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Okay. A future prediction for me will be that we hear by the next time we do this, we will have heard about Jedi Fallen Order 2.
Okay.
We'll be knowing that that's either being worked on at least, if nothing else.
I could see that for
and
sure.
And maybe we'll have even seen something from it, but most likely just hearing that it's coming.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that for sure.
All right, go ahead. What's the other one you got?
Let me think here. Hold on. Dang. I really don't know. I can't think of too many things. I wish we would have thought about this. At least I would have thought about this a little bit more. I would like to say maybe we're going to get a little bit more information about Kenobi series. Maybe not too much more, but I think by the end of the year we're going to have a little bit more information in terms of maybe the plot a little bit, or some more characters that we're going to hear from, or something like that.
Okay. I
can see that at least.
It's
not very adventurous, but of a guess. But you know what I'm saying. But
yeah, this is hard.
I know. I wouldn't really think about this.
I'm thinking. Here's one that's a little farther out, but still a prediction I want to make. I think that we will come to find out that Taika Waititi's movie will be set far in the future of Star Wars, and that it will not include any characters we know.
Really? See, and I could say it because, like, I remember Kathleen was saying how it's going to be very different. It's going to be quirky. It's going to be blah, 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 whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So I could see that.
For me, it's either really far in the future or really far in the past. Like, really far in the past.
Yeah.
So there's no connection to anything we know. I think his movie's going to be completely new.
I think more than anything, it probably will be in the past. But I agree. I think it probably will be pretty far. Like, it's going to be the things we don't know about, whatever. But I don't think they're going to take the jump to the future yet. I just personally don't think so. That's just my prediction. I think that we'll see probably some kind of huge jump in time, but I do personally think it's going to be in the past.
The one thing that does kind of lean maybe a little more towards past is if you look at the artwork for the Star Wars, when they did show just the tiny tease that Taika Waititi does have a movie coming.
Yeah.
They showed that like bedrock style Star Wars looked really like vintage Star Wars type.
Yeah.
And I know he kind of is into that like vintage style stuff.
Yeah, he's gonna bring in Korg from Thor. Ragnarok.
So I don't know if that might be a hint towards it being a past thing or not. But
yeah, I don't know.
I think either way, it's going to be set. I think it's going to be set with no characters we know. I think it's going to be like
a one-shot type. It's just a movie. Yeah. It's Star Wars, and it's going to be about things. I think it's going to be kind of maybe even like I said. She kind of said quirky, fun. Like it's going to be kind of whimsical. It's not going to be super serious. Like I think that's going to be probably.
Okay, go ahead and give us one more.
God, why do you keep putting me in the spot? Man, I thought we. I can't think of anything else, man. I will say by the end of this year, I think we're gonna have a fairly definitive answer, and this may not kind of true. I'm getting crazy. I think by the end of this year we'll have a fairly definitive answer of whether Old Republic stuff's gonna be coming out or not.
Ooh,
like basically saying like yes, there is gonna be some stuff, or no, there's no Old Republic.
I like your style.
So I think so. I think that we're gonna get some more clarification on the Old Republic by the end of the year.
I really hope you're right.
The answer could be no, right? Like no, we're not doing it. But I think we're gonna get an answer. I think. By the end of the year.
I like that.
So, who knows?
I like that. Here's one for you. I think here's a prediction. I think we're going to be slightly confused on what's going on with Mandalorian Season 3 this time next year.
Sure. Yeah, I think so too.
I think we're going to be slightly confused on when it's coming. And
right.
Maybe not by the time we're doing this.
Yeah, I'm saying at that point, I think we probably get some kind of clarification.
We might know, but for the most of this year, and I would say for the rest of this year, we're going to be confused. Now, but by the time the Book of Boba Fett is finished, which will be probably not long.
Sometime in like end of February, or excuse me, end of January, early February,
something like that. So it'll be close to a year from now.
Yeah.
We'll probably then maybe start to hear exactly what's going on. But I think we're going to be a little confused.
I do think it's going to come out fairly quick afterwards. Maybe not like week after.
You think it's going to be
like a month after? It's going to be like out. You're going to be watching it.
It's no longer going to be in the prime time.
I agree, but I don't think that they could wait 2 full years of not having. Anyway.
All right. Well. We're gonna have to wrap this up because Braxton does have to go. It's unfortunate because I really think we could really continue on with this. More to talk about. And I don't know, maybe we do a part 2 of our
part 2.
of the future of Star Wars.
Right.
because I feel like maybe we could continue on with that for a while. But
Yeah.
we're going to wrap it up now. But we want to thank everyone so much for the continued support towards the podcast. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for weekly news, polls, discussions, and more. You can also follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review on there. You can check out our Facebook there. You can see our GoFundMe. We would love for you to support us there. Give us all your money. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, please give us your money.
You can also check out our store there on Facebook as well. There's a link on there. You can check out our store. We got some shirts. We do hopefully eventually going to have more merch coming, but the store is fighting with me about that. So we're gonna continue that on. Hopefully have some more stuff there soon. But again, guys, just thank you so much for listening to episode 50.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a great 50 episodes. Here's to 50 more.
Oh,
Hopefully
yeah.
with all of you listening.
Maybe a few more.
Yeah, and hopefully maybe a couple more. Lots of great things going to happen this year for Jedi Eternal. We're calling this Jedi Eternal 2.0 because we're taking it to the next level this year. Lots of streams coming, lots of fun coming. So make sure you're there. Make sure you continue to follow us every week. But until next time, may the Force be with you, and we thank you for joining the Jedi Eternal.